67 Moore Street Northeast. We are applying for a special exception there for a 3-unit conversion. The existing house is a 2-story row house, and we are expanding it both up and back to convert it into a 3-unit apartment. We are requesting relief from the number of units, essentially, for the 3rd unit, because we have sufficient lot area to meet the 900 square foot minimum lot requirement. What else you want to know about the project? We have received a letter of support from Office of Planning, saying that we are in compliance with the items outlined for a special exception.
What's the height of the pop-up?
I believe it is 34 and a little bit, 34.17 feet.
And so this 1167 is the alley, is this the Florida Avenue alley? This is Florida Avenue alley, so you're looking to look like the other 2 extensions on in that block?
It's similar in scale. There are other expansions on that block. We are within the allowable 60% on
Have you all met with the single member district and the community to find out whether they would be in support or opposition to this, and what was said?
We did. We met with them. I forget the exact date of their hearing, and received pretty good attendance and some resistance to the overall massing and scale of the property in general. We did not receive any specific opposition to the number of units, and have received general support for the proposed facade as being compliant. They were specifically concerned about parking, and we originally were showing 1 off-street parking spot, and we are now providing 2, which is the maximum that we can fit on this specific lot. However, they are still concerned about the overall mass in the rear, which we have taken to heart. We've taken back to our client with a variety of studies of reduced projections. Unfortunately, the feasibility doesn't make it such that those are well received for this specific project.
And so what about the neighbors at 1165 and 1169? Are they for or
We've been
against?
in direct contact with at least one of them. I can't say which one.
The neighbor to the right is concerned about how long the building will be, but the height they're not concerned with at all.
Because you'd be cutting off their view from, as they look. So how far are you from the other 2 units that are extended like this? How many doors are you up from?
Oh, down from the others?
Right. The other ones are closer.
The other ones are closer to West Virginia Avenue.
Right.
We're more closer to Montello, which
Yes.
is the next property.
It's a number of houses. You can see this picture is a year old from the DC records, but these are those houses that are being
Right
expanded
there, right.
And we're on this opposite end, basically the same piece bookended.
So you're almost at the back of the Florida Avenue project.
Exactly.
Correct. And we back up to some that are actually of similar size.
Okay.
Can I say that the thought of doing, instead of doing 2 and doing 3 is, in my mind, is to make them more economical for my thought was, since I've worked extensively in the neighborhood, and I see people leave, and I know that people live by their grandparents, or their, you know, it's family oriented. The people that have stayed, I mean, it's like brother, cousins, uncles on the same street. So, but people, when they get older, they need to move out. I've talked to several neighbors who want to age in place, they want to downsize, but there's nothing that they can afford once they sell their house. So, in my mind, when we decided to design this project, I thought it would be nice to make, you know, 3 condos a little bit less expensive, and then the basement unit to be able to be somewhat handicapped accessible, and less expensive. So somebody's daughter and son-in-law can move in with the new baby and still be close to their relatives, or somebody's grandparents can age in place. You know, it's important to me personally.
So what's the cost then? What are the projected costs?
Well, we don't know when it's gonna start. I mean, it depends on market value, but I think that I can't put a number on it today.
Okay. And then on the front, and since you, with this,
I'm very considerate of the neighborhood, and it kills me that people come in and they build all these modern, I don't wanna say monstrosities, but they put in these like huge windows and they don't match the style of the neighborhood. That's why it was important for us to make the facade match the neighborhood.
oh, that's what I'm saying, you have 4 instead of 2 windows with the little dog houses, because I mean, it almost looks like the rest of the house is raised, so you got 4 windows.
Right.
And
They'll be consistent with the rest of the house, so, I mean, we could adjust that if that's something.
I mean, just because I wasn't around with the other 2.
Okay.
The other 2 that's sticking out.
They're not in the style of the neighborhood, and.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, so, I mean, everything that I built in Trinidad pretty much is consistent with the style of the neighborhood. It's just, what I do is I make it new again. I bring all the old finishes back and try to make old school DC. I'm born and raised in DC, and it kills me when these people come in. It kills me when these people come in from the county just to turn a quick buck. I mean, this is my city, so I try to.
Well, I would like to see the same style of windows, even though it's raised, because if everybody pops up.
Okay.
And
So 3
keeps,
instead of 2.
Yeah, 2 instead of
2
4.
instead of
Okay.
Because it almost, this design here almost looks like the same house, except it's a little taller.
Exactly, and that's what we're going for.
And that's the only thing that's off, and the only thing is the supporting for the neighbors. So are you gonna completely gut the house?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so
No.
you've got noise regulations and not working on Sundays,
No, we never do.
even though the crews like to come out on
No,
Sundays.
mine doesn't. They like to go to church.
I find your comments to be helpful, and thank you for making those comments. However, I'm not in a position to foreclose on the community's right to be heard. And given that members of the community are not here, their representative is not here, I would ask that we support you in tabling this process to allow for effective community engagement. And just regarding the windows, I find the height to be a concern that I think needs to be discussed, and I'm certainly open to more light and air, not less. So the windows, yes, you'd be changing the rhythm of that particular street, but again, it's adding more light, and that's something that citizens throughout the city always ask for: more light, more air.
Really trying
But I think what is appropriate in this matter is that we need time to extend that discussion, so that it seems like you're willing to work with the community, you're open to suggestions, and your comments have been heartening. So I'd like to see a community dialogue extended.
How do we do that?
So actually, I'll address that.
Okay.
So by show of hands, who from the audience is actually from the area, or from that immediate area? So I think I'd like to suggest, I'm going to offer a proposal and also let folks weigh in. So embodying Commissioner Bugs for a moment, she shared with me, and I watched the entire hearing today, and I think for those that didn't have a chance to see it, the board was quite clear that they were concerned about a couple aspects of the project. I think they were particularly concerned about the 30-foot, the distance and the light and shadow effects of that. There were some questions about from the Office of Planning, where I believe the board asked the Office of Planning to go back and clarify their report. So I think what I heard there today, what I've heard from Commissioner Bugs as a result of, I believe, 45 or so people that signed a petition, that there's a significant concern from the community and a very, a desire to sit with you and really work out differences so that everyone can leave happy. So I just put that out there for the benefit of the commission, because it sounds like we're about to take a vote that may be an outcome of this conversation. Would members of the public like to address anything at all for those that are nearby? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to clarify one thing, because I think there's some confusion about what the objection is. So I mean, I think a lot of the members of the community are concerned about, especially the neighbors, the direct neighbors are concerned about the light air issues, but a number of us are concerned about generally creating exceptions where you allow 3-unit buildings. I think there are a lot of apartment complexes going up in the area, places where people can have those kinds of, circumstances where it's a smaller place. In this particular instance, where you're converting a family home, I think most of us agree that we like family homes to stay closer to family homes, less apartment style. And even if what Suzanne proposes is a fantastic, proposal, fantastic design, it creates an exception that every single time makes it harder and harder for us to stop people from developing these properties as apartments instead of homes. So that's just a big concern for us. And the parking issue, if that's addressed, that's a huge issue for the community right now. But I didn't see it in the plans that actually went to the BCA. And so I think that would make a lot of people very happy. But I think the 3-unit issue is something that we're all just really concerned about.
I do not like that the buildings are extended out so far. And I wasn't aware of the other two that were coming up. I didn't know about it so that I could go to a meeting. But the people who live on either side of those buildings are very unhappy people. And I don't think that you should take away from a family community to make a profit. If up, it's not so bad, but when it comes out and it takes up another, the house that they just finished is now 3 lengths longer than what it was before. It's the house of 2 more lengths. And if you do that, and if we keep letting them get away with 1, then it's 2. Now this will be 3 on the street. I'm just not happy with it. It is a family street. I have ex-in-laws, their parents and children who live on the street. There's sisters who have houses. And then the more people you bring in, God knows there's no parking. And I don't know, it's just kind of an emotional thing for me. I don't know all the technical stuff that goes along with it. I know you have your rights that you can go this high, you can go this far out, but it doesn't make it right. That's not
Yes.
Yeah, from what I understand, there are 4 things that would need variance. Going up to 3 units, which the neighborhood does not want, doing a pop back, and the pop back, as I read the designs, it goes back a full 51 feet from the neighbor's house. That's, you walk out of your door, you have 51 feet of a concrete wall inside you that blocks your garden and your light and your air. If you had a garden, forget about it. You're not gonna have it anymore. And that shadow casts over more than just 1 yard. There also needs to be a special exception for any penthouses built on the top, as well as altering the roof elements in the facade, which destroys the streetscape that neighbors currently have. And I've heard mostly concerns about the project, having talked to people in the neighborhood, because it does start the ball rolling to destroy what is a good family neighborhood where people come home from work, they sit on the front porch, they talk, they engage with each other, and that is starting the ball for that all to be gone.
So,
Yeah, I'm good with the